Are we ready to record? Are you ready to record? Camera says we're ready. Let's do this thing, Mom. Hey curators, welcome back for another episode of the Yarn Curator podcast. My name is Naomi and welcome to my channel where I'd like to talk about knitting, spinning, weaving, and this handsome guy right here, Bing Bong the Collie. If you're a returning viewer, you'll know he is our new puppy here in this household, new co-host, trying to get him used to all the action shots. Bubs, really? If you're a new viewer, welcome. It's the Hot Mess Express, per usual here. Would you expect anything less? Well, you might expect more, higher quality, higher caliber. Sorry, this is not the knitting channel for you if you want put together and not a dog's butt in your face. If you would like to follow me on social media, I'll put my information down below. I post sporadically and frequently on Instagram, and I am semi-active on Ravelry, although not as much since getting this dog butt in my life. And, oh, you found yarn. You found yarn to chew, shocker. My yarn herder is in full form, you guys. So anyways, you guys, it's been a hot minute since the last time I sat down to record an episode. I do apologize about that. Hey, mister, can you sit? Can you not eat the yarn? Can you not eat that? So I did try recording a few weeks ago. I'll give you a little taste of what that looked like. Hi, what a handsome test subject you are. Is this your podcast now? Hey, look at me. Bing Bong, look at me. You ready, podcast? High five. Good boy. All right. Ready? Gotta look at the camera. Hey curators, welcome back for another. That did not go well. It was a mess. So it's probably been about 2 months since the last time I sat down to do this. I do have some new things to show you guys. They're all new cast-ons. No finished objects. I do have some acquisitions coming up later on in the episode, and yeah. Alright, so what have I been working on? We'll start with the oldest whip and we'll work towards our newest whip. So first up is, if you watched my last episode, you will know that my mom came to visit sometime in March. February, March, I don't even remember that. I don't, what is time anymore? It's both slow and moving at a warp speed. But anyway, she came to visit. We went to one of my local yarn shops called Creativity. They were closing, the owner was retiring, and she ended up finding a buyer for the yarn shop, so they stayed open. But in that brief period in which, no, Bing Bong, leave it, in which they thought they were going to be closing down the business, there was deeply discounted yarns, and I picked up 4 skeins of this dark green color of Elizabeth Lavold silky wool in this dark green color, and then I also got it kind of in a sagey mint color, similar to what I'm wearing now, but it's got a little more blue tones in it. And I bought it knowing that the Gr8 Gingham by Jessie May was getting ready to come out. And so I bought 3 skeins of the lighter color and 4 skeins of the darker color to make my crop top with. Sit. Thank you. And so I carried that new yarn mojo with me. In past the last podcast episode, cast this on almost as soon as I finished filming, and so I cast on the first sleeve. This is the first one because I've since blocked it because I used this as my gauge swatch. And this sweater is knit bottom up, and then it starts with the sleeves, and then you'll attach those and do raglan decreases. And so I have one sleeve down I have the oh no, this is the first sleeve I cast on. I have the second sleeve done, and you can see how much the yarn just relaxed and grew just from there alone. So probably got another inch or so out of that. And I just love these kind of like, it almost has like a retro throwback feel with the colors. And then I was really good, and I cast on the body as well. So I've knit all of the rib, and when I hit this point, I was like, you know what, I kind of want to break from the color work. Even though this color work repeat is really potato chippy, it's like, I'm just gonna finish one more of this color block stripe section. It's only 5 rows, so then it's like, oh, I'll just do one more of the next. Oh, I'll just do the chart one more time. And so it really knit itself up. It's really easy to memorize the repeat, and I know once I pick the body back up, I'll just go to town on it again. But I just wanted a break, craving something a little different, needed a different potato chip flavor. And yeah, so I moved on to something else. But I have to tell you guys, I am loving this yarn. It is a 45% wool, 35% silk, and then 20% nylon. And it's, I don't believe it's a super wash, but it's just got this lovely like spongy quality to it. It's really bouncy and soft, and it's incredibly light, and it's just a 2-ply yarn. I believe it's worsted spun, so it's not quite as lofty as a woolen spun yarn, but I mean, just look at that squish factor, and it is so soft and lovely. And it's only they're 50 gram skeins that you get, but it's only $10 a hank, so that makes it really affordable. And I got mine at 30% off, so it was even more affordable. And the other thing that I really like is with that silk noil in it, is it almost has a Tweety effect to it, and I think that's contributing to kind of the retro vibes I'm getting from this color combination in this sweater. And you guys will notice I have been on a green kick lately. I think you might have gotten a little teaser here from this guy. That yeah, I'm digging greens right now. And this is something that I do periodically. I feel like every year I kind of gravitate towards one color, and most of the projects and things that I wear end up being that color. So probably about 5 years ago, I was in a mint green phase, and then I was kind of in a pinky purple phase, and then I was in a purple phase, and then there was my blue year. So right now we're moving back towards greens in different shades of green. And I was kind of on a pinky peach phase for a while, and creams. So yeah, I tend to kind of gravitate towards one color throughout the year with other things mixed in, but I think green is going to be the dominant whip color throughout the year. Yeah, so I don't have much more to say about this. I will pick it up at some point. It is getting really stinking hot here right now in Florida, and so even though this yarn is light and it's not that like warm on my lap when I'm knitting with it, I'm just not really feeling the winter garments at the moment. Kind of more into summer knits, which will make sense when you see the next work in progress that I have going. And so as I said, I was kind of feeling the summer knits after finishing my outline tee. There's like 5 or 6 t-shirt patterns that I would really like to cast on. One of which is the Esty by Justina Lorkowska. I apologize if I mispronounced her name. Just thinking of it off the top of my head, but I will link it down below. And I did buy yarn to make that. If you've watched the channel for a while now, I have talked ad nauseum for years now about making a second Tegna, which is what I am currently wearing right now. It is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter. As you can see, it has this lace motif down at the bottom, and the way it's cast on, bound off, it's got this kind of flouncy floral. It's got this little flounce at the bottom. All of that is to say, this is one of my favorite knits. I wear this thing so stunkin' much. And this is knit out of, this particular one that is currently on my person is knit out of Two Guys Yarn Company. Picked it up at the Estes Park Wool Market back in 2017, no, 2016, 15, somewhere around there, because I bought it had to have been 2015, because I bought it when I worked at the Estes Park Museum. Anyways, I held on to this yarn. I had just enough to make the pattern. Really, I needed a little bit more because I ended up skimping on the sleeves. That's fine. I like the length of it. I love everything about this pattern. I added some waist shaping in here when I cast on, so I decreased, I think I cast on the large, and I decreased to the medium, and then when it came to do the shoulder divide, I increased back up to the large size. Part of that was to save some yardage on the yarn, because I knew I was going to be close. Anyways, I love this top. I've talked about this before. When I knit this top, I cast it on right before our previous cat, Lucy, passed away, and I couldn't touch it for probably a month after we sent her over the Rainbow Bridge. And so when I did pick it back up, I really worked through a lot of that grief of saying goodbye to a loved one. And so this top has a lot of sentimental value on top of just like really liking the product at the end of the day. And so I would actually love to retire and or wear this less, which is why I want to knit a second one. And so I did. I finally cast it on. I've bought yarn to make the Tegna before in the past, my second Tegna 2.0. So last fall, the guild that I am a member of did their annual members sale, and the guild sold things, and then members could bring in things to sell, and a portion went to the guild and a portion went to the individual. So anyways, I picked up 2 hanks of this gorgeous kind of sweet tart pink to do something with. I didn't know at the time, had no plans. It was just, I think it was like $2 for a hank of yarn, and I think each one had about 500 meters. I can't tell you more about that because the entire label was/is in Japanese. So all I got was 100% silk, 500 meters. And a viewer at one point messaged me more details about the yarn. They're like, you've probably already figured this out, but, and they said essentially the same things. And I think they also said it was a fingering or a lace weight on the label, which once again, I can kind of figure out just from looking at this, you know, I can feel it. And I have to say I've never knit with 100% silk before, so listen to that crunch. It makes me want to think of like going like, I'm surprised that didn't wake him up. Not even a move. Oh, that got a reaction out of you. But yeah, it just makes me think of like honking something. I am sorry. Tangents. I wish y'all could see the side eye Bing Bong just gave me just now. So I cast this on and was like feeling it. I was feeling this project. I was really enjoying working on the lace. It was a nice change from color work. I haven't done lace knitting probably since I knit my friend Amelia her wedding shawl back in 2019. I don't think I've really done a lace project since that. No, in 2020 I made my poet for what was going to be my Rhinebeck sweater, and then you guys know the rest from there. So anyways, I don't think I've really done in-depth, I wouldn't call this super in-depth, lace project since then. So it took me a week, maybe 2 weeks to do the chart, which is 47 rows, I believe. And then it was just, once again, mindless potato chip knitting, stockinette in the round. I did get to the divide for the back, which I have been doing, and unlike this pattern, I am not making any modifications. I'm kind of curious if I can knit the whole thing from this one ball of lace yarn. I did go ahead, I do believe I've already blocked the lace panel down at the bottom because I wanted to get a good idea of how much the lace would grow. That way I could get an idea of when I wanted to divide it underneath the arms, because I do like somewhere between not full length and not totally cropped. The beautiful thing about knitting is you get to customize your garments to your body. You are making something tailor-made to your own body, and so I think for that reason, that's part of why I like garment knitting. And the more garments you can knit, the more comfortable you become hacking, modifying patterns to suit your own personal taste. So for me, I know I like kind of from my armpit things. It used to be like 17 inches. I used to like things to like midway to my butt, like halfway across my butt. Now I'm either right to the top of my hip or more in my true waist if I'm going cropped. And so yeah, I've just, as you knit, you learn to make the customizations that suit you and suit your taste. And I think if you want to be able to do that, pick simple patterns to start and then start playing from there. You'll get more comfortable modifying things. And while I know we all like to be spoon-fed from designers, sometimes it is on you as the knitter to learn things. That way you can make those adaptations and changes. It's a give and pull. I hope that makes sense. And not to be condescending or rude to anyone who's not at that comfort level yet. I'm just, at a certain point, it's your knitting, it's your project. You can take ownership for what you're creating. So anyways, I am really enjoying this project. I had to laugh to myself because this is my third like summer tee in a very similar tone. So I have my outline tee, I have my plumeria that I made last summer, now I have my second Tegna. Even my Alden, which is a sweater, is very close in colors to this. So yeah, I definitely went through my like pinky peach phase. Don't think I'm totally out of it yet because it's just such a pretty color. It's the right blend between orange and pink. But yeah, I can't wait to add this into my wardrobe. And then last but not least for whips is I did cast on another new cast on. So so back in 2020, in March of 2020, right before things came to a standstill, we did a yarn crawl in Raleigh, North Carolina, and one of the stores we visited is called Warm and Fuzzy, and they had a sample of this shawl on display in the store. And this is the Bennett sister shawl. Don't have the designer's name in front of me at the moment, but I took a photo of it and loved the shawl when I saw it in the store. And then I went back and looked at it on Ravelry and I was like, why did I like this so much? So I think this is a case of a shawl where it looked better in person than the pattern photos online. And it's this really neat construction. You knit it end to end instead of top down, and then because of that your garter stitch is running vertical, and then it's got this cool stockinette section that kind of makes an X to break up the two stitch patterns. So that's running this way, and it's just really neat and different. And then the other thing with the shawl is half of it is knit with a single skein of fingering weight yarn, and then the second half you actually hold a mohair and the fingering weight together. And so I am actually using some natural undyed Angora yarn, and then you can't see much of here because I'm about to add in my second ball of yarn. This is Cosmic Strings Dye Works. They're a Scottish dyer and based out of Edinburgh. And I believe the colorway is called Afternoon Tea, but as you can see, it's more of that lovely pinky peach punched in with some nice navies in there as well. So I just started the second half, the decreases down, and this has been my knitting for the last few weeks now. The only modification I made is I went down in needle size. And since I went down in needle size, I knew I needed to knit things bigger or, longer. The pattern is pretty self-explanatory once you get into the meat and potatoes of it. Once again, I felt comfortable kind of hacking it and modifying it to my needs. Basically, you hit a point and it says, continue increasing until you have X amount of grams of yarn left. And so I did that. Added a little cushion extra since I was modifying it, and then I added a little bit more because it calls for tassels and I wanted to have enough yarn to make the tassels at the end as well. So yeah, this has been really nice, really mindless. If you want something that's squishy garter but a little bit more interesting, I highly recommend this pattern. That is it for the knitting. I don't have any spinning. I still haven't tried it with this guy yet. Just not really there in terms of introducing him to the wheel and either the traditional Saxony style wheel that I have or the electric wheel. He doesn't like large, fast-moving objects. They really scare the bejesus out of him. Cars are actually his biggest trigger, and so I'm not ready to test those boundaries yet. But what I did do the other day was I pulled out my loom, which I've kind of touched on the channel about a year ago. So in November of 2021, November of 2020, I purchased a 24-inch Shat rigid heddle loom. It was a really good deal on Facebook Marketplace. Downside was it was in South Carolina, so I actually PayPal'd Zoe and she went and picked it up, and then we met in the spring of 2021. I took possession of my baby, immediately warped it, was weaving for a few nights, and then I lost steam, and then that just sat for over a year in my craft room. So I finally picked the project back up, and I had just warped this with some Karen cotton cakes and just to get practice. So I finally finished it. I was like a few hours away from being finished. So you can see these are like towel size. I have 2 towels essentially that I finished. And so for the warp, I used this pink colored yarn, and for the weft, I used like a gradient that goes from orange, pink, yellow, and purple. And each of these are about the size of a full-size bath towel. I plan on hemming them with my sewing machine and cutting off the fringe, and they can either be towels for the dog or for us when we go to the beach or just sitting on at the beach. But yeah, they're not perfect. There are definitely spots where I obviously missed, and yeah, you can see where I joined in. There was a couple spots where the tension on the warp broke. You can see a spot here where I didn't fully send the weft through the warps, but this was just for practice, so I am okay with it. And yeah, I would really like to put a new warp on the loom and try something new try like a pattern playing with color or something. So that's coming. We're getting ready to have a long weekend here, and so maybe I'll use that extra day at home to put the warp on, because it does require taking over a large footprint of the house to do that. And then last but not least, you guys know that in April, my big sister Zoe, who is Felicity Yarn Studio here on YouTube, she also has an Etsy shop, she came to visit, and so we went back to Creativity for more yarn shopping, and I picked up a few things. Well, I picked this up right before Zoe came when I thought the shop was still closing, and I got 3 skeins of this. I could only find 2 in my stash, but this is the Knit 1, Crochet 2, the Daisy Base. This is what I made my outline tee out of. It's 38% linen, 32% silk, and 30% hemp. And I got it in the the porcelain colorway. So I'm thinking that, once again, another summer top, a nice neutral color, could be really pretty. And I've noticed with linen, like when I drink coffee in the morning, if I spill coffee on like one of my 100% linen garments, that tends to just sit on top of the fiber. It doesn't really sink into the fabric and it washes out. So I'm not too nervous to buy this and wear it. I am a messy individual, if not already perfectly clear to you guys. So this will be great because I think it's going to be really washable and versatile. But when Zoe was here, they had Shibui on sale, 55% off, which was like a crazy, stupid, good discount for Shibui. So I picked up 4 skeins of this. Cone is the name of the base. It is 70% linen and 30% silk. So once again, it's got that real kind of crunchy texture to it, but I know it'll soften up, and it is fingering weight yarn. And yeah, this is what I'm thinking of making that SDT out of, this kind of yummy apple green colorway. Another tea I want to make is the, not the Miriam Mo, Nisarina, which is by Caitlin Hunter. It's got this flower motif and then some lace as well. Very simple. I think it's like an eyelet pattern. So those are kind of high on my to knit list. Before I forget, a very exciting thing happened. We just passed 1,000 subscribers at some point between the last filming and the filming right now. So I would like to celebrate that with a giveaway. So if you'd be so kind, if you're watching, leave a comment down below on something you're looking forward to. Is it a vacation, a new job opportunity? What's something that is on the horizon that is bringing you joy and you're looking forward to in either this year or next year? I would love to read that. I love seeing your guys' comments. And yeah, leave that down below, and then in my next video I'll use the random comment picker to pick a winner from that, and I might do 1 or 2, we'll see. But yeah, I would love to celebrate 1,000 people saying, yes, I want to be a part of that hot mess. So yeah, let me know down below. Anyways, on that note, I think I'm gonna sign off. I hope you guys enjoy whatever you are making. I hope it brings you joy, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Don't eat that. That's my sweater. All right, my camera decided to stop. So anyways, this is me coming in to say that editing Naomi might be popping in and out. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of running through things right now, but I have 2 back-to-back doctor's appointments in 17 minutes. I need to leave here, so there you go. Sorry folks, this one's gonna be quick.